Hi guys, welcome back to Cincy Fishing. I'm your host John. Today we're going to talk about jerk baits. I'm only going to go through a small handful of jerk baits, and I'm also going to cover a little bit about the type of rod and reel I like to use on that, line, and kind of my technique for it. This time of the year, jerk bait fishing can be very deadly. That erratic swim, flash, kind of rolling action. Cooler water jerk baits can be very deadly. One of the newer jerk baits that I've been throwing quite a bit is that Yo-Zuri Hardcore Minnow. Got a nice rattle to it. They come standard with a clip on the front. I have experienced some nice action out of this bait. Again, that is the Yo-Zuri Dual Hardcore Minnow. The next one up is an old standby for a lot of people. This one happens to be in the junior size. This one is the Vision 110. No stranger to the jerkbait community. And then I go up to the regular Vision 110. Quite a bit of difference between the junior and the standard. Both have that great system in it that allows you to get maximum casting out of it. Another one that I just recently picked up is by Gary Yamamoto. This is his version of a jerkbait. This one's in a red crawl. This time of the year with that red crawl, it's a great pattern to have, great bait to throw. Another one that I've been throwing down below the dams, Catch a Striper, has been these Smithwick Rogues. Again, great bait, great system. Another one that's done really well for me has been the Live Target and the Bait Ball. Great jerk bait. Okay guys, that's pretty much it on the types of baits that I'm going to kind of show right now. I will cover some of the ways that I throw them. A lot on these smaller bills, like the Live Target, the Yamamoto, the Vision 110. You can work those pretty aggressively. Fire them out. You know, you can really rip that rod and rip that bait, get that flashy wobble out of them. You'll know when you kind of push the limit on that bait, because it just won't want to swim right, or it'll start swimming straight on, which is not neat, not good at all. You definitely want that erratic side-to-side swimming action. The Smithwick Rogue, that one you can fish really aggressive. It dives pretty deep for you with that bigger bill baits. I seem to find that I can really rip them. Pretty much what I'm doing with those guys, I'm fishing those on about a 7'3" medium action rod. It's got a soft tip, kind of like my crankbait rod. I've been throwing those on, I believe it's 17-pound mono, or when I'm fishing down below the dam, I do pull out my 65-pound braid and put that 17-pound mono leader on it. Sometimes a 15-pound mono leader or a fluorocarbon leader. Fluorocarbon is great because it wants to sink, helps keep these baits down and suspended where they need to go. Pretty much my technique for any of the jerk baits this time of the year is I'll fire them out, fire them up in there, reel up that slack line, jerk, reel, rip, reeling. One of the things that you don't want to do when you're jerkbait fishing, after you fire that up in there and you rip, you can rip and reel slack, rip, slack, rip, reel up the slack, rip, reel up the slack. Never pull it to a tight line, especially if you're in a cadence where you're rip. You want that bait to be able to finish doing its action. If you reel up on it, it's going to take it out of that last rip or that last side action, and it's going to make it kind of come straight forward. I've noticed that the bass really haven't paid a lot of attention to it when it's doing that. They just don't seem to like it. They like that erratic side-to-side motion. And that's what you're supposed to be resembling. There is a bait fish that he's just not doing good in the water. He's dying. He's erratic. He's going side to side. I tend to find the colors that have a lot of that nice flash to them seem to work the best, especially around here. You could definitely, on some of these, like this guy here, this Yo-Zuri, changing out the hardware on them is definitely not a bad idea. Upgrade your treble hooks, upgrade your split rings. Some of the places I'm fishing in that I know, a lot of the bass are just 4-pounders. I have gone through with the standard hardware on them and have found that some of the hooks are bending out. So I have switched out some better, stouter hooks. I've been using some Berkley Fusions, and then some other ones that I've had for a few years that I just don't quite remember the name on them. But I do keep extra split rings, extra trebles out, even if I am fishing a heavier wire hook, and I get snagged up on some timber. Sometimes you'll still end up bending one out, or you'll break one off trying to get it out of the fish's mouth. It's great to have spare treble hooks on hand. That Megabass Vision 110, that's probably one of my all-time favorite jerk baits. I mean, they're just designed to do what they say they're going to do. They cast a mile. They've got that system set up so they help you transfer the weight to get that best cast out of them. They do have that great side-to-side action, kind of rolling action, erratic bait fish action. Great paint jobs, great bait. I have thrown these straight out of the box with standard hardware. They do have that EWG style hook on them. Great bait. The Smithwick Rogue, same way. The Yamamoto, I've been fishing it the same way. I did buy some Lunker Hunts. Some of the other brands. The Lunker Hunt, I bought it in a baby bass. I don't know if that bad boy wants to come straight out of the box or not. But it's a great bait. It's got a real small bill on it, so you really can't fish this one out aggressive. But it's a good bait. Great for the money. If you're on a budget, you don't really want to spend a lot of money on a jerk bait, but you want to get into jerk bait fishing. That Lunker Hunt, that Yamamoto, and that Yo-Zuri, they're anywhere from $4 to $10. That's not bad versus $20-$25 for the Megabass Vision 110. A lot of places I know there's a lot of snags. I don't throw my Megabass because I'm on the bank, guys. I can't get out there to get a snag off. Some places, even with the lure retriever, I can't get that knocker down and knock that thing loose. So I will throw my Lunker Hunts. I've got some Rapalas. I've got some others that I've had around for years. Again, guys, cadence is key. When you're firing that bait up in there, a lot of times for me it's a rip, 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 pause, reel up that slack. Rip, 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 pause. Sometimes it's a rip, rip, pause, rip, pause, rip, rip, pause. Get that cadence down, find your cadence. Don't be afraid to try different cadence. Sometimes it's a 3-rip pause, followed by a double rip pause, back to a 3-rip pause. You gotta find the action that these bass are looking for. But what's going to trigger them to bite? Great thing about a jerk bait, not only is it great in cooler water and it'll pick up some of those finicky bass, but another thing is if they're schooling bass and you get that school fired up, you get them in a feeding frenzy, you might catch a couple 2-pounders right off the bat, then all of a sudden you'll start catching some bigger ones once you get that school fired up, jacked up, and ready to bite. We were throwing a jerk bait down on Gunnersville, got out on some schooling bass. We were picking out a bunch of 1 and 2 pounders. We just kept firing that jerk bait, I started playing with the cadence. Rip them real hard and get that bait really erratic, flashing and dancing through the water. Once I got that school fired up, sure enough, we were starting to pick up 3, 4, 5, and 6 pounders. Again, guys, jerk bait fishing, it's great for the time of the year. Like I said, that Megabass Vision 110, that's probably my standby favorite. I've caught a lot of bass on that. Again, play with the cadence. Don't be afraid to alternate it. Key, don't reel up that slack line. When that bait's ripping through the water, and all of a sudden you pull that slack line, it starts to go, now you pull it back, and that bait goes straight in. Those bass do not like that. I have thrown some of the older Impalas straight out, worked them back in on a slow retrieve, kind of like a regular diving minnow. I've caught a few bass that way, but definitely fishing them in a jerkbait style definitely triggers more bites, catches bigger bass. Anyway, thanks for watching my channel. I'll keep bringing new content. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload new videos. Thanks.